Welcome back to Joe's Math Tools, where math is made easy. In our session today, we are adding mixed fractions with unlike denominators when we're finding the LCD first. And in this particular working that we're going to be solving today, we are going to be working with a case where some regrouping is involved. And if you're ready to see how this is done, let's get started. So when summing our mixed fractions with unlike denominators, we're going to begin by finding our LCD first. So what is the lowest common multiple of the numbers in our denominator, which is 3 and 6. And in looking at both of their timetable, we know that the LCM or the LCD for 3 and 6 will equal to 6. So this means that we're now going to begin converting our mixed fractions into their equivalent form where both digits in the denominator has a denominator of 6. So let's get started. So for our first fraction where we have 3 in the denominator, we're going to look at what number we multiply 3 by to get 6. And we know that in multiplying 3 times 2, we get 6, which means that our numerator of 2 will also be multiplied by 2. And 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And now for our next fraction. This fraction already has a denominator of 6, which means that our 6 was multiplied by 1 to get 6. And our 5 would also be multiplied by 1 to get 5 in the numerator. So this is why we usually say that when the fraction has a denominator of the LCD, we don't do any changes to that fraction, but rather the fraction just remain the same. So now let's begin our calculations. So I'm going to begin with my whole number. So I'm going to be adding my 4 plus my 2, which will equal to 6. And now for my fractions, I will begin to add the numerator. So we will be adding 4 plus 5, which will equal to 9. I remember that since we have a common denominator of 6, our denominator of 6 will remain the same. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my 9, 6 to the side because we have several working that we're going to now do with, we need to perform with our 9, 6. And the first one is we need to simplify this fraction into its lowest term. So you remember that you can do either method first. You can decide to simplify the fraction first, or because it's improper, you can decide to change it to a mixed fraction first and simplify afterwards. Remember that regardless of what step you decide to perform first, we should still arrive at the exact same answer. So when dividing my 9 times 3, my 9 divided by 3 will equal to 3, and my 6 divided by 3 will equal to 2. So I'm going to just rewrite that quickly back into my question before I move on so that you can keep track with what is happening in our working. So we just simplified our fraction. We put back our whole number, and I'm going to put back my fraction of 3 and 2/3. And now for this final step, we're now going to work out our 3 and 2/3 by changing this into a mixed fraction. And remember that we're going to do that by dividing our 2 into 3. 2 goes into 3 ones. 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and 3 minus 2 gives us a difference of 1. So now to set up our mixed fraction, we will have 1 whole and 1 half. So now with this 1 halves and our 1 whole, I want you to keep in mind when you are working with a whole number and a fractional part. Remember that with your whole number and your fractional part, this means that my number 6 is being added to 3 halves. That's how we get 6 and 3 halves. Those two numbers are added together to get this mixed fraction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to put back my 6, and where I have my 1 half, I'm now going to swap that out with my mixed fraction of 1 half that we have over here. So I'm going to plug in my 1 1/2. And now to simplify, we're going to work out our fractions by first adding the whole number of 6 and 1, which will equal to 7. And because we have only 1/2 as our fractional part, we're going to return that back to our question. Remember that when your whole number and fraction is added together, we just combine those two parts together, which is how we get a mixed fraction. So we have 7/2 when we add our mixed fractions of 4 2/3 and 2 5/6. This will be our solution. Okay, so I hope this was very helpful for you. I hope it helped you with working on whatever questions you may have been calculating. And remember to always feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions. I have no problem with answering your questions or addressing any concerns you may have as relate to working out any questions that we solve in this video or any video that I may have posted. And as always, get some additional practice in, and I'll see you right here in the next video on Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy.